The Galactic Council had assembled for what they believed would be humanity's trial. In the center of the crystalline chamber, Ambassador Sarah Chen stood with her hands clasped behind her back, watching as the most powerful beings in the galaxy whispered among themselves in languages that predated stellar formation. "The humans must explain themselves," declared Chancellor Vex Thera, her chitinous form towering 12 feet above the assembly floor. "They harbor it. The Devourer, the Void Spawn, the creature that consumed the Helios system, the Kepler colonies, 17 inhabited worlds across 4 sectors." Sarah's expression remained calm, though her heart hammered against her ribs. Behind her, barely visible in the shadows of the human delegation's platform, something stirred. Something massive. Something that the galaxy's greatest minds had spent millennia trying to destroy. "You speak of Onyx," Sarah said simply. A collective shudder ran through the assembly. Even speaking its name was considered an act of cosmic heresy. The creature had appeared 3 decades ago, seemingly from the space between spaces, and had begun its systematic consumption of inhabited worlds. Not just the biosphere, everything. The very matter that comprised planets, moons, asteroid belts. It would arrive at a system and feed until nothing remained but empty darkness. "That thing has killed trillions," snarled General Krax, his forearms gesturing violently. "Our greatest weapons are useless against it. Our most advanced shields collapse at its touch. How dare you humans claim dominion over such horror?" Sarah turned slightly, nodding toward the shadows. What emerged defied every law of physics the Council thought they understood. Onyx was darkness given form, not merely black, but an absence of light so complete it seemed to bend reality around itself. It flowed more than walked, its shape constantly shifting between something vaguely serpentine and utterly formless. Where it moved, the very air seemed to whisper with the death songs of consumed worlds. The assembled delegates recoiled, some fleeing to the far edges of the chamber. Energy weapons powered up across dozens of platforms, though everyone present knew they were useless. But then something impossible happened. Onyx approached Sarah and, with movements as gentle as falling snow, curled itself around her feet. The creature that had devoured worlds, that had made the galaxy's mightiest civilizations tremble, rested its unknowable head against her ankle like a cat seeking affection. Sarah reached down and, to the horror of every witness, began to stroke what might have been Onyx's neck. The creature made a sound, not quite a purr, but something that resonated with contentment across dimensions. "You want to know our secret?" Sarah asked the stunned assembly. "You want to know how we tamed the untamable?" She gestured to her fellow humans on the platform. "We didn't conquer Onyx, we didn't cage it or control it. We did something your civilizations have apparently forgotten how to do." Chancellor Vex Thera's voice was barely a whisper. "What?" "We showed it kindness." The words hung in the chamber like a challenge to the fundamental nature of reality. "When Onyx first appeared in human space," Sarah continued, "it consumed our outer colonies just as it had consumed yours. But our xenobiologist Dr. Marcus Webb noticed something others had missed. Onyx wasn't feeding randomly. It was consuming worlds that broadcast distress signals, worlds in pain." She paused, letting her fingers trace patterns in Onyx's impossible flesh. The creature leaned into her touch. Dr. Webb theorized that Onyx wasn't a destroyer, but something else entirely. Something responding to suffering on a cosmic scale. So instead of fleeing or fighting, we tried something different. We sent Dr. Webb alone to meet it, armed with nothing but curiosity and compassion. The memory still sent chills down Sarah's spine. Webb, small and fragile in his environmental suit, walking across the devastated surface of Kepler 442b toward a creature that had just devoured 2 billion souls. But instead of consuming him, Onyx had stopped, waited, listened as Webb spoke to it in the universal language of empathy. "Onyx feeds on pain," Sarah explained. "Not matter, not energy, anguish. The death of worlds was never its goal, merely a side effect of its attempts to end suffering. It was trying to help in the only way it knew how." General Krax's weapons powered down, confusion replacing rage. That's impossible, is it?" Sarah challenged. "How many of your species responded to Onyx's appearance with violence? How many of you tried to destroy it rather than understand it? You fed its purpose with your fear and hatred." She knelt down, bringing her face level with Onyx's shifting form. The creature nuzzled against her palm with movements that spoke of infinite gentleness. "Humans understand pain," Sarah said. "We've carried it with us across the galaxy. But we also understand that pain shared is pain divided. We offered Onyx something your civilizations couldn't. Not dominance or subjugation, but partnership, friendship. The transformation hadn't been immediate. It had taken months of patient interaction, of humans sitting with Onyx in the ruins of consumed worlds, sharing their own sorrows and fears. Slowly, the creature had learned new ways to process the universe's suffering. Instead of consuming worlds in pain, it began to heal them. Planets Onyx touched now bloomed with life more vibrant than before. The creature that devoured worlds, Sarah said, rising to her feet as Onyx curled more tightly around her legs, is nothing more than a being that felt too much, knew too little, and had no one to teach it better ways. She looked out at the assembled council, these ancient civilizations with their weapons and their walls and their certainty that some things were beyond redemption. Perhaps, she said quietly, the question isn't why Onyx chose to trust humanity. Perhaps the question is why humanity was the only species wise enough to offer trust in return. In the silence that followed, as the greatest minds in the galaxy grappled with concepts their civilizations had abandoned eons ago, Onyx purred against Sarah's feet, the sound of contentment echoing across the stars, carrying with it the promise of worlds reborn and suffering, transformed into something beautiful. The devourer had found its family, and in doing so, had taught the galaxy what it meant to come home.